Hey everyone, it's Joel from EV Geek Studios, and this week on our mini charge episode, we are going to talk about falling prices of electric vehicles. Sebastian and I have talked about cuts in EV pricing of new and used EVs on some of our most recent Friday charge episodes. These aren't just incentives, not special lease deals. Actual sticker prices across multiple brands are coming down at the same time. And when that happens in an industry, it's a sign that something bigger is changing. So today, we're breaking this down end to end. Why EV prices are falling, who can survive cheaper EVs and who can't, what the price war means for buyers, and the hidden downside that no one wants to talk about. This isn't about hype or doom. It's about understanding where the EV market really is right now. Let's break it all down. The easiest explanation you're hearing right now is demand is slowing. Now, this is only partially true. Demand hasn't disappeared, it's normalized. You see, early EV growth was fueled by early adopters willing to pay premium prices, that would be me, heavy government incentives, limited competition, and supply shortages that made EVs feel scarce. That environment made prices artificially high. Now, several forces are hitting the market at once. First, you have battery costs are stabilizing. For years, battery prices were unpredictable and expensive. But recently, manufacturing scale has improved, supply chains have stabilized, and new battery chemistries have lowered cost. When battery costs stabilize, EV prices become far more flexible. We're also seeing inventory is building. Automakers expected EV demand to grow faster than it has. Production ramped up based on optimistic forecasts. Now dealerships and manufacturers are sitting on more inventory than planned. And inventory for dealers is expensive to hold, so prices drop to move vehicles faster. Plus, EV buyers are price sensitive. Most EV shoppers are still comparing cost versus gas cars. We hear it all the time. Even small price changes influence buying decision. That makes price cuts one of the fastest ways to stimulate demand. But once one company cuts prices, something else happens, and we've seen this for many years in China. A price war begins. Price wars sound great for consumers, but they're brutal for manufacturers. Because EVs already carry massive research costs, expensive battery investments, and new factory infrastructure. When prices drop, profit margins disappear quickly. Some automakers are built for that reality, others are not. Companies built entirely around EV production tend to design vehicles around cost efficiency, move pricing quickly, and accept lower margins to maintain growth. For example, Lucid, Rivian, Tesla. Traditional automakers face a tougher challenge. They must simultaneously invest heavily in EV development, maintain profitability from gas vehicles, support the dealer networks, and transition some of their manufacturing systems. The balancing act makes rapid price cuts extremely difficult. Legacy manufacturers also move slower. Price changes often take months or quarters instead of weeks. In a fast-moving market, speed matters. That doesn't mean traditional automakers fail, but it does mean some EV programs may shrink. We're seeing this with Ford. Some models may disappear. Also seeing this with Ford. And some companies will transition slower than expected. Price wars just don't lower prices, they reshape the industry. So next question is a question that we get all the time. Should I buy now or wait? Now this is where the conversation becomes personal because falling prices create buyer paralysis. Everyone asks the same question. If prices are falling, shouldn't I wait? Well, sometimes yes and sometimes no. Here's the reality most people misunderstand. Falling markets don't move in smooth lines. They move in steps. Prices drop sharply, then they stabilize. Then they drop again, then they pause. Waiting for the perfect bottom often means waiting forever. Buying now makes sense if you already need a new vehicle, fuel and maintenance costs don't stop while you wait, you plan to keep the car long term, resale swings matter less if you own the vehicle for many years. Leasing options are strong. Leasing shifts depreciation risk away from the buyer. Waiting makes sense if your current vehicle works well and there's no urgency and you can watch the market develop. Or you may be extremely price sensitive. Used EV prices are still adjusting even though some have hit the bottom and many offer future opportunities. You may prefer the newest generation technology. EVs evolve faster than traditional vehicles. The smartest question isn't, will prices fall further? It's, does buying now meaningfully improve my daily life? Now, lower prices are mostly positive, but also comes trade-offs. Resale value volatility. When new EV prices dropped, used prices adjust immediately. EVs behave more like technology products than traditional cars. For example, when Apple comes out with a new phone, their old one drops in price. Each generation can bring major improvements in range, charging speed, software capability. That accelerates depreciation. Also, there may be some cost cutting behind the scenes. To support lower prices, automakers often simplify interiors, remove features, make some of them subscription software paid features, lock functions behind software upgrades, or reduce trim variations. Vehicles remain functional and competitive, but often feel less premium. Also, and this is kind of improving, the charging infrastructure pressure. Lower prices increase adoption quickly. Charging networks don't expand at the same pace, but we're starting to see them grow out more. Buyers who rely on home charging generally love EV ownership. Buyers dependent on public charging may experience some frustration. And also, we're seeing faster product cycles. Automakers are releasing updates faster than ever. That means more rapid improvements, but occasionally unfinished software or early reliability issues. The industry is moving faster, and sometimes buyers become part of that learning curve. The EV market is transitioning from early adopter excitement to mainstream consumer reality. That transition always looks a little messy. Prices fall, competition increases, expectation shifts. None of this signals EV failure. It signals EV maturity. So if you're considering an EV today, the smartest mindset is this: buy based on how you plan to use the vehicle, not short-term market swings. You're going to expect in the future faster technology changes, higher early depreciation, better long-term operating costs, and rapidly improving ownership experience. Cheaper EVs aren't a warning sign. They're a sign that technology is becoming normal. And normal is where mass adoption begins. If this episode helped clarify the EV market, share it with someone considering making the switch, because this moment in the industry is confusing, but also full of opportunity if you understand what's really happening. All right, that's your mini charge episode for today. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube, and also consider becoming a member. For $5 a month, you get early access to all of our content, and you're just one of the cool people. And if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, tap that follow button and leave us a quick rating and comment. It really helps the show grow. Thanks for watching, and until next time, y'all stay charged and stay geeky.